Hey everybody, Brett Thompson, Thompson Law Group. It's Tuesday at the World Headquarters, so you know what that means. It means that's another installment of the Teaching Tuesday. So this Tuesday I wanted to discuss trusts. It can be a revocable trust, it can be irrevocable trust, but trust as it pertains to real estate. So a lot of people for estate planning purposes, all right, will convey their assets that they own individually, and they will convey it to a trust, pursuant to a trust agreement. And I do think that it can be an important tool for estate planning purposes. It's not as effective as it pertains to creditor protection, but we'll do another video on comparing holding a property in an LLC and holding a property in a trust. But for the purposes of this video, I want to talk about trusts. So a lot of times I'll have a client come to our office and they'll say, Brett, I hold a property in a trust and I want to sell the property that's owned by the trust. Wonderful. And they'll even bring me a fancy binder that they had done by their perhaps trust attorney or estate planning attorney. And it'll have the trust document in there and have all the, and it can even have as an exhibit on the trust document the address of the property. And we will do a title search and come to find out the property is not owned by the trust. It's still in the man's name individually, because in order to hold property in a trust, it is a two-step process. All right, number one, you have to create the trust and pursuant to the trust agreement. And number two, you have to convey your interest individually in the property and convey it to the trustee of the trust. So you have to put a deed to record. So the only way to convey real estate in Virginia is either by a will or a deed. So just drafting the trust agreement and indicating that the trust owns real estate is not enough. You have to do step two. All right, step two is you have to record a deed in the land records from yourself individually to the trustee of your trust. So for example, if you're a real estate agent in Hampton Roads and you have a client that says, hey, I own a property in a trust, I would like you to be my listing agent. Do you have all the information that you need in order to enter into a listing agreement with this person? The answer is no. All right, you need to do a little due diligence. Number one, if they say that the property is owned in a trust, you want to ask for a copy of the trust agreement. At the very least, you want to have a copy of a certificate of trust, which would kind of be the Cliff Notes version or the summary, if you will, of the trust. So a trust agreement is, there's going to be a settlor, which is the creator of the trust. It's going to designate a trustee and it's going to designate beneficiaries. And basically that's the governing document for this agreement, and it's the roadmap, if you will. And so once you get a copy of the trust, you want to make sure that there are appointed trustees, and the trustees have the authority to convey real estate. So that should be set forth in the trust agreement. Also, some trusts have more than one trustee. So we have to figure out if it's going to be one trustee that you're dealing with or multiple trustees. And that would be set forth in the trust agreement. So if you're a real estate agent and you have a client that says they own a property in a trust, get a copy of the trust, verify that you're dealing with the trustee of the trust, and also pull the source deed, meaning the last deed, which is in the chain of title. Take a look at that deed and make sure that that deed shows that the trustees of the trust are the title owners of the property. You may find that it's still owned by the individual, so that would be a red flag or a possible pitfall. But in any event, that's kind of a summary of trusts as it pertains to real estate in Virginia. If you have any questions, give us a call. Otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.